Today I'm going to show you how to make this super pretty version of this bow, and the translation is Kayla Invertido. So obviously I'm just going to refer to this one as a Kayla bow just to make it a little bit simpler for everyone. And you can do this in one layer of ribbon if you've got some double-sided, like this really pretty double-sided ombre rainbow ribbon, or you can do it two-layered and have like a pattern plain mix, and you need slightly more ribbon for this, but all the measurements and etc will be in the description below if you ever don't catch anything that I say. And we're going to be using 1.5 inch ribbon for this, and the version we're going to be using some other ombre, some pastel ombre ribbon, double-sided. And for this one you need 2 times 20 centimeters for this two parts of the bow, and 1 times 38 centimeters for this half pinwheel base bow behind here. Okay, so this is the look you get. This is the sides, and like I said, it's really pretty and it's a lot simpler than it actually looks, and it's a great way to show off double-edged ribbon, double-sided ribbon, and use a little bit less than saying using a pattern and plain mix like this, because obviously this would be 4 times 20. You'd have 2 plain 20 and 2 pattern 20 centimeters with your base bow as well. So like I said, that's why this one's a little bit more ribbon. Also, I've been getting back into doing my follow alongs, so there is a picture tutorial going to be available for this one in my group, and the link for the group and the group will be in the description below, so you can come and join if you like that, like visual aid to guide you along, which I always find useful myself. So this is ribbon I'm going to be using, and as you can see, this is double-sided pastel ombre rainbow ribbon, and it is a little bit different to standard ribbons because this is a normal pattern, and as you can see the back of that is white. That's what you get standard, and on these ones are the ones where you would normally take another colour of ribbon and place that over the top, like these versions tied that white in your bow. So, but like I said, these double-sided ones take that out of the equation, and obviously you can use slightly less ribbon. So this is the 38 centimetre piece for the half pinwheel, and these are the 2 main pieces of the bow, 20 centimetres each. And what you will see is I have already heat sealed my ends in the blue bit of the flame so you don't burn your ribbon, both ends on both pieces. And the other thing, the first step on this one, is you pin in both pieces at 8.5 centimetres. 8.5, and what I like to do to make sure, because this is a big thing, place your ribbons on top of one another and pin the other one using that as a guide, so that you know your pins are in exactly the same place on both pieces of your ribbon, because that way you'll get the same shape on both sides. So take your first piece, and I'm also going to use a couple of clips to hold things in place as I'm moving, like as extra pairs of hands basically. So your first fold is a triangle down, so you've got this long piece this side, and you've done a triangle down like so, and then we take this side, and you want that right against there like so. Then I use my clip and clip that like so. So that's what the front looks like. Sorry, the back. Basically we're working from the back, and this is what the front should look like. Okay, so again, working from the back, you want to take your ruler, you want to work out where is 2 centimetres, and we fold this across like so. So this is 2 centimetres from that pin. There you go. Right, so holding here, we fold down, triangle like this, So that's straight down. Okay, and then we take this, and this comes back up to this layer here, and we're going to move that there. I'm going to take one this side, and this is what the back looks like, and this is what the front looks like. Okay, and if you've done it right, you can see here you've got the two pieces of ribbon here. This corner should be right over that join line. So there's the two pieces where they overlap, and that triangle point is just over there. Okay, and this is what you're looking for, this shape. Well, like I said, if you need a visual of that, the picture tutorial will be a great help. Okay, so again, second piece, 8.5 centimeters in. We go down into a triangle. We take this up, line this up with this side of the ribbon, take our clip, clip that in place. We take this side, we measure 2.5 centimeters. Let's check from the pin. 2.5 centimeters from the pin, fold it over this way, triangle down, like so, and then bring this up, and like I said, you want that right on that corner of that triangle. 1, 2, and again, if you turn this over, that triangle is just over that overlap of ribbon, and that is roughly 1.5 centimeters. If you check this one, that's 1.5 centimeters from the pin as well. So that is your shapes. Okay, so now if you do them next to each other, they'll both be the same. So what happens is we stitch like this, and when we cinch them round, you get that one that side and this one this side, and that's where you get the topsy-turvy effect. Okay, so like I said, that's what it should look like. There are your fronts, and that is what the backs of the bow should look like. And the other thing is if you, because obviously we've done the same, so just made two pieces exactly the same. If you place them on top of each other, these should be the same width, and these should stick out the same values, because obviously you've done the same steps twice on your two pieces of ribbon. Okay, so I've got my needle and thread, and as you know, I use my 7 centimeter sharp darning needle and my double threaded extra strength Goodband thread. And what you want to do is, obviously this one we've got the triangle that's going down here. We want to be going through from above, through all of those layers for your first one. And 1, 2, your second one should be coming through that second triangle that's going down there. Your centre one should be coming through that overlap. Down and out. Okay, and that is in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in total. Okay, and on the back you should have 1, 2, 3, and as you can see, that third one is directly over that overlap where the ribbons line up. And then we're going to repeat exactly the same steps on our next piece, starting from the exact same point. We want to be coming in from where the triangle is coming down and all of those. So we're going through all of those. There we go. So in, move our clip out of the way, and stitches exactly the same placement as we've just done. Okay, and you'll see both sides will have 3 creases. Once you're happy with everything, you can take your pins out, pull them both round and cinch both of them. 3, and 3. And I like to line up my creases on the opposite side, as you know. So 1, 2, 3. I'll just pull it a little tighter. Okay. So line up your 3 creases the other side. Okay. And we're going to go back through the original stitch. Guide all the way around, and like I said, if you want to, you can make them in 2 pieces. It's entirely up to you, so whichever method works best. I don't mind, you'll get the same results whether or not you do it this way or the other way. There you go. So there's one side, and I'll just go back through the other side, do the same, just over. And then stitch off in the back. What I'll do is I'll go underneath, and as you can see, the 3rd crease there, what we want to do is we're going to line them up by putting an anchor stitch over them from beneath. Do excuse any background noise, I think my housemate's just making his dinner. Okay, so that is what you should have, this super pretty shape, and as you can see the sort of waves that are available underneath there. We'll fluff them up in a minute, but like I said, I'm just going to stitch across the back, and like I said, do this however you feel comfortable. And like I said, don't be afraid to take these methods and adjust it to what works best for you, because everyone makes in a slightly different way, and you have to work out your own sort of set of techniques that fit your way of making. And on top of your stitch placement, that will make the biggest difference on how much you learn and how much your bows start to click, and you see a big improvement in the shapes of your bows. So there's a reason I was doing my half pinwheel after I've made this part of the bow, and it is because I like to test and see how much I want of the peak. So like on these, I like to see how much of this I want behind the bow. I tend to only like about 1 centimetre, some people like a little bit more, so it's personal choices again. So take this, and this is for 38 centimetres. I sometimes do 40, so I've got a little bit more cut allowance, but again, it's up to you. And what you do, excuse me a second, so you make this like the Z shape, and you can roll it until you've got the tail amount that you sort of want, and then I take my clips, pop one here, and pop one there. So this is what the front looks like, and this is what your bag looks like. This is what I talk about when I mean the Z shape. Now before I like put my stitches or anything in, I take this and I place this centered, and as you can see from the point, that is roughly 2 centimeters. So once it's gathered, it'll be about 1.5 1. So if you wanted slightly longer tails and slightly less behind, what you do is you take your clips off and pull those a little bit more and reclip. Test it again. Like I said, work out your sort of centre like that. And then as you can see, that's about 1 centimetre. So like I said, play around with that. And like I said, work out what you sort of like, what you find most visually appealing. Once you've done that, like I said, just line those up. Take clips point to point, like so. I also use this point to see if my tails are the same, and that's a little bit longer, so I'm just going to cut that. So both of those are the same length. Fold in half directly, and I just use my lighter to crease that. Okay. Now I know you can't really see this, so I'm going to take my pencil, and so you can see my creases where I'm stitching. Obviously I wouldn't advise you doing this, but this is just so you can see my stitches better and see where the crease is, so you can see that it's even. So from above, always in 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So as you saw, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So in, 1, 2, out, in, 1, 2, out. Okay. And on the opposite side, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 stitch here, 2 in that centerpiece, 1 stitch this side, and this will give you 4 creases in total, because obviously you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. And the other thing with this, as you've noticed, this way is facing this way, and this one is facing that way, so you can just do your Z's opposite way rounds, and it's entirely up to you which look you prefer, or which way you like yours facing. So cinch that together. As you can see, 2 creases there, 2 creases there, 4 in total. Wrap, wrap. I always keep my clips in until I've wrapped everything and it's in place. Stitch off however you prefer. And like I said, the visual picture, the follow along, has the guide for the main part of the bow and this base bow. So like I said, you've got both. And as you can see, this is what your half pinwheel looks like. Like I said, I'm really loving this ombre, pastel ombre ribbon. And with this extra thread, as you know, I don't like a lot of glue on mine, so I come directly up from beneath through the centre. Just make that a little bit more centred. There we go, through the centre. Pull that all the way through. Then take your bow here through the centre of this one, like this. Line them up, work out where you want your bow to sit. So like I said, adjust it so it sits where you want it to, like this. Take your thread and wrap it round really tight. You want to take the bulk out of the centre as much as possible. Wrap that round at least 3 times, maybe 4, depending on what you personally like, and then you can stitch that off. and I like to do that instead of gluing, because A, I feel it's more secure, and B, it takes out the bulk. And the other thing is, if you've ever made a mistake, so say you look at it and you go, no, I don't like how much of this you can see behind, what you can do with this, you can take your thread unpicker, you can unpick, and you can quite literally take the bow apart, get your hair straighteners, run your hair straighteners over all the ribbon, and reset and start again. So like I said, that's the other reason why I like sewing and like not gluing, because like I said, you've always got that option of like being able to adjust things, whereas with glue it's a bit more permanent because you can't take the ribbon apart when it's got glue all over it. So at this point, the other thing I also do, so if you line your tips up here, that is 1.5 centimetre over. Line it up that way, 1.5 centimetres over. And like I said, you can do an angle tail, you can do a curved tail, you can do a spike tail, you can do whatever shape you like. I like a little gentle curve, like so. And don't forget to heat seal in the blue bit. There we go. Same the opposite side. Nice gentle curve. Blue clear bit of the flame too. And then I've got a 45mm clip, and I've got this sort of pale blue. It matches this colour there, but we're going to hide this because if you're in my group, you'll well have seen I raided my sister's clay stash and she kindly gave me one of these rainbows, and I think that is like the perfect match for this bow. So I'm going to glue our clip, touch glue across there, on the back, give it a moment to settle and set. While we're doing that, we'll heat seal our 9mm, like so. Touch of glue. We always want to wrap round at least twice. There we go. I like to sort of try and square it off a little bit. To make sure you can't see the ribbon beneath. Okay. Cut that extra off. Heat seal our ends. Tiny drop of glue. And close that. And then what I also do, as you can see, the layers sort of squish down a little bit, so I always give them a little tweak back up. And this is the look you get. And if you want, like I said, give these a little fluff, give them a little bit more of a 3D effect, like so. And then what I do is I have my B7000, or you can use the E6000, and I'm going to have my clay in the centre, so I'm going to put a touch of my B7000 there, because this takes 24 hours to set. So I put a touch of the B7000 there. So that will dry clear. And then we want a bit there, a bit there. And then we're going to add a tiny touch of hot glue either side of that, because what the hot glue from your gun does, that holds it in place, while the E6000 or the B7000 is taking its 24 hours. to set. So there you go, there is your super cute ombre double-sided pastel rainbow ribbon. How cute is that one? Like I said, thank you for watching. If you need any more help or advice, like I said, the Facebook group is linked below. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye!